Hello everyone, I am Tacet, and today I'm going to be going over the Who's Afraid of the Dark event and objectives in which the Dark Priestess is added into the game. The green-purple trait stones are mainly going to be used to upgrade Kraken. If that is too expensive for you or you already have the Kraken upgraded, you'll probably want to go and upgrade all of the green-purple troops that have empowered. The first one that you would want to trade up would be the Siren, because the Siren is the most useful out of all the green, purple, empowereds. But as far as this new troop, she clans and allies, drains a bunch of life from them, meaning she'll just completely destroy their life. This does end up triggering if you have something like a humility or anything else that will trigger whenever it takes HP damage. This will end up triggering those traits, and it then converts that amount into attack, which is a relatively high attack gain, and then it gives them barrier and creates 8 skulls. She may seem a little bit bad since she actually hurts your allies, but there are quite a few one-shot teams that you can end up building by getting a really high skull damage up, and we'll be showing a couple of them. As far as her trait, she does have Warded, which is pretty good right now due to how much Death Mark is being used. She also has Arcane, which could be good or bad, because that will mean she'll do even more damage to your ally, but that also means you're going to be gaining even more attack. I personally really like her. She works in quite a few very powerful teams. As far as the other events, though, of course, there are event keys this week, as every week, and as you can see, Draculus and Crimson Bat are in it. Draculus is a very low drop chance, but I would try at least getting some if you don't already have a Crimson Bat. Definitely a really nice troop to have. And I would say don't go any further than 2 copies of into a mythic of Crimson Bat. Anything further than that, you're basically just wasting your event keys. Even if you are trying for Draculus at that point, you might as well not. Just get up to 2 copies of mythic on your bat, and then just don't go any further if you happen to have not gotten the Draculus, because you are going to burn through a lot of resources if you try going all the way till a Draculus. Okay, so right here we have to defeat Golvania troops. It says with a Vina. That's a little bit misleading. You don't actually have to have a Vina in your team. All you have to do is go into Golvania, go into challenges, and go over to the 5th challenge. This is, I believe, the only challenge that has 4 Golvania troops in it, and then you just use whatever team you want against this on normal difficulty or whatever difficulty you want. Of course, normal would give you the gems the quickest, and that's basically what you do to get your 200 gems this week. Pretty straightforward. You'll probably also get a bunch of them just passively from PvP as well, but that's how you farm out the rest of them, and of course just the normal rewards. It does have a pretty nice one. If you don't already have a soul farmer earlier on in the game, Avina is pretty good for that. She does have a soul gain based exactly on how much damage she has, and she's also really good against undead, doing triple damage to them. She also does 2 times skull damage. She has that much needed immune to Death Mark, and if you happen to somehow be able to afford her last trait, she does have armor piercing, which is a pretty good combination. Having a Slayer plus armor piercing normally would be able to get one-shots. We do get 40 bonus souls whenever we use Dark Priestess in a team, and I will be showing 2 teams with her. And we also get 25 to all Mystics, as well as 25% to all Golvania. One thing that can be done with this is actually only one troop that has 50% this week, and that's the new Priestess that just was added. But one thing that I'm doing for defense, for pretty much everything this week, is Crimson Bat, Famine, Death Famine. The main reason for this is Crimson Bat and Famine both have a 25% bonus, and I'm doing that with a double purple, just so the Death can get Death Mark, since it's being blocked initially by the Crimson Bat pretty heavily, so that'll help to make sure it can actually get its mana up. So I'm running with that. I'm a Paragon too, so we'll see exactly how powerful this team is. But let's go into the 2 teams now. I didn't actually want to show that one first. Oh no, should we show this one first? I showed this one so many times though. Well, I guess because we're already showing it, I should probably show it now. It's just this team, just with a Dark Priestess. But there's another team that this works out pretty well in. I have Valkyrie up front just to make sure we can show the Dark Priestess. Normally, you would probably want to put her in 1st slot instead of 2nd, like switch the 2. I'm just doing this for showing purposes, though. It's still just as strong this way. It's just, of course, you have the little bit of danger that your Valkyrie may just randomly die, which is never a good thing. But, oh, I did that so it wouldn't take mana, and then I'm just giving it all the mana. But should go pretty smoothly here. Just need to get our mana generated, and then we can go from there, already getting some of those much-needed freezes off. So, right into the Valkyrie, one more tap, and we get the Valkyrie all the way up. Thank you for the free extra turn, helping to speed this up. Great. Though we don't have alignment, do we? Well, we can move that out. That will give us her new ability. And yeah, this board, what are you doing? What are you doing to us? I might just take a blank skull then and kind of just wait until the board gets more into position. Will that help us? No, not really. Come on, board. What are you doing to us? I guess we could do it on brown. That would be like nothing. Yellow, also nothing, and giving him a bunch of stuff. Well, let's go throw down the first proc, I guess. Why not? We'll go do that, and that will give all of the attack. It'll create some skulls. It'll give it barrier, which will protect against that one skull. And how's the board looking after that small cascade? Not really improved at all, unfortunately. We could bait out another skull, I guess. Or never mind, we'd actually claim the skull right there because of the brown drop. So we'll go do that. Still trying to get this Valkyrie off. Normally it's not this hard to just get off a single Valkyrie. Valkyrie could die before we even get to do anything with her. That would not be good. We need her to loop, but we need her to actually get up to do that. One thing to note about this new troop is... Oh, was that just alignment on the blue? Probably was. But one thing to note about this new troop is it can actually kill your troops. Like, the true damage can just completely kill out your own troop, which is one of the reasons why a lot of people think it's not too good. And by how I'm doing it right now, that's a pretty good example of it not being as good as it could be. But it does do really, really nice attack gains. And of course, with a Justice like this, it will be gaining all of its HP back just from passively from our ability to just keep triggering. So we'll do that again. And hopefully we get our extra turn here. No, we're getting really unlucky right now with our extra turns. So it'll lose its turn pretty much every time because we have them frozen spammed. We'll just throw down a nice little spread right there and get the rest of our damage up. We're putting our Valkyrie in very low HP right there, all the way down to 13. But we do get a lot of skulls. It's just agile, unfortunately. But we'll get a nice convert out in there, throwing down another Justice, and that will be the match with a really, really huge skull value right there. So we'll throw that down. And now we can get into, or we should be one right there. Yeah, that's one. Now to get into the really interesting team with her, which is the strongest I've found so far. This is actually weaker than the other team, but I figured I'd show it. If you're going to put her in anything that's relatively cheap, Justice Team works. I was also trying it with Borealis earlier too, and it kind of works, though not as well. It never normally does work as well, of course, than the other alternative, but we're going to throw it in here with the Gorgoltha, Queen Jezebel, Emperina, and Dark Priestess. Emperina hasn't seen play for so long. Back before traits and level 20 came out, back when it was only level 15 and no traits, Emperina absolutely dominated because there was no Devour and no Deathmark in the game, which are two of the most annoying things right now. But both of them are getting nerfed in the nearest future, and we'll be able to kind of use that to our advantage here. Well, it still works now, even with them not nerfed. But what we're essentially going to be doing is making one gigantic troop. Of course, this is really dangerous if they have a Deathmark or if they have a Devour. But Deathmark will have a one-turn delay in the soonish future. So once that actually comes around, something like this will be pretty solid. So right off the bat, we will want to start getting our Gorgoltha mana. Pretty much any Gorgoltha team, that's the way you kind of start building yourself up, let them take all the skulls. We can distract pretty heavily with them as well, but we just need to generate our mana. I'm doing a +1 on our brown, and I believe the other one is on green, if I'm not mistaken, just to make sure we can get the extra mana into our Queen Jezebel, so for when we get that around. So there we go, getting full Gorgoltha. He'll probably throw down his barriers, not too much of a worry. We can even pop one of them with an explosion right here, and he only gets 2 anyways. AI is pretty bad at placing those barriers, to be honest, but we'll go move that, get a Gorgoltha down, and now we can really get this team going. So we almost have the full setup. Of course, one thing, I didn't even explain what Emperina does. Though I'm pretty sure most of you may kind of already know, it's just not really used that often. But it gives an ally 21 life and attack, and then cleanse and heals them. The main component here that is really important is heals them, because what we'll do... Actually, can we get a little bit more mana so I can show the full cycle? Let me see. Come on, please search. There we go. So we can throw down the full cycle right here. Nice. So ideally what we basically do here is we start off with a poke from the Dark Priestess, and oh, a lucky skull right there, nice. And then we throw down the, yeah, it'd be Emperina then. Then we throw down the Emperina to heal it back up, and then we throw down the Queen Jezebel for the mana on the other 2 that we just used, plus the really big poke, and then we use Gorgoltha again and just keep repeating that until we win. So that is essentially the setup of this team. And yeah, works out pretty well. And of course, Gorgoltha has 75% skull reduction, so you don't really need to worry about the skulls constantly hitting you. You don't need to worry about the HP you're losing because you full heal every single time. This will also work great with pretty much any troop that can full heal, though Emperina is probably your best bet since it can target anyone. I believe it's the only troop at the moment that can target a full heal onto another troop. But we'll just take a skull right there, instantly kill, and we'll just one-shot everything. Normally, one-shot skull builds aren't really worth doing. Justice Team, for the longest time, has been one of the only really viable options for it. But this does end up working pretty well. So right here, I am going to use a weird Gorgoltha just to pop his barrier right there. Because if we do skulls, it's just going to be a waste anyways. And there we go, poke it up with a skull. And just Queen Jezebel for the win. And that will be match. And that is the strongest team I'm currently aware of for the new troop that was just added. So if you have all those components, I would definitely advise using it. The main two components is having a Emperina, which you can get. Actually, this might look a little bit more like an expensive team, but it's actually pretty cheap because there's only really two components you need. You need an Emperina, which you can get for free from completing out the Kazel Kingdom questline, and you need the event troop. And then other than that, you'd probably want a front troop with at least stone skin, but there's plenty of options you can do for that. So the base of the team is actually really, really cheap then, because all you have to do is you can replace out Gorgoltha with anything with stone skin, and Queen Jezebel you can replace with pretty much any other support troop if you really wanted to. But yeah, there we go. That is the new thing or the new Dark Priestess. All the event stuff with it. I believe I went over pretty much everything. If you still have any questions about any of the events or anything else in general with Gems of War, feel free to let me know. One thing I should note is Gems of War is currently having a closed beta that they ended up doing to several members of the community, and I was one of the people who they ended up giving it to. Unfortunately, I can't actually show any footage of it, but I will probably in streams kind of just be mentioning some of the stuff. Because we basically have like the 3.05 version already for testing. It's still really glitchy, which is the main reason why they don't want me to show it yet. But probably in a couple weeks, I will be able to show it. So I've been working on that. That's also why I wasn't able to get the other video out the other day. But anyways, thank you all so much for watching. Any other questions, any other suggestions, any other video ideas too, feel free to leave them in chat and we will get around to them. Again, thank you all so much. Have a wonderful week, and I'll see you all later. Goodbye.